segment of Rise and Shine right here on Alfajiri with me, Shiko Kaitani. As always, we do want to hear from you on our social media platforms, and that means you can get in touch with us through Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter as at K24 TV. Sawa sawa? That being said, today we've got an interesting discussion coming your way on Rise and Shine, and we're calling this one Resignation Guidelines. Now, you may want to quit your job, and the minute you actually say that, what do people actually tell you? Just quit if you are absolutely tired of your day job. But you know what? There really is a way to actually make that transition. Whether you actually want to leave employment completely or you actually want to move from one company to the next. So how do you go about doing your resignation in a professional and in a smart manner? Well, today we are so happy to have back in studio Natalia Zara, who is the founder of justwork.com. She is a headhunter and of course with extensive experience in the human resource department. So she's here to tell us a little bit about how to navigate this tricky area when it comes to resigning from the workplace. Natalia, welcome back.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To see you again.
Great to be back. Absolutely.
Always positive feedback every time you're in studio.
Great.
Because you've got so much to tell us about from, what happens on the other side that we don't know about, which is human resource.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at it from both ways.
Yeah.
There's always the individual and the company,
Yes.
and there is a conflict of interest.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right, so let's get chatting. Now, number one, what are some of the mistakes that people really make when they decide, by the way, I'm done either with the workplace or I'm done with employment?
Absolutely. Oh, there's so many examples, but if I could actually just categorize them a little bit together, I would say that a lot of people seem to be making what I call like a knee-jerk decisions.
Yes.
Either they are emotionally based or they are principle based. It's almost like something has happened that you think, no, this does not sit with me well on an emotional or principle basis, and people just leave.
Yeah.
Also, what I find, a lot of people kind of are unhappy in their career.
Yeah.
They've been unhappy in their career for a little while. They kind of feel that they've hit a ceiling and they're not sure. So what happens is they leave what I would call their sort of water, kind of boiling temperature.
Yeah.
So what happens is they are so busy wanting to leave where they're currently at. They don't even plan, where am I going? The objective becomes, I just want to leave.
Yeah.
Whereas with careers, you've got to do a little bit of planning.
That's true.
And I would say the third, a lot of people that tend to make mistakes is almost like chase a dream.
Yeah.
They will, and a lot of these will fall a little bit individuals who've done 10 years experience and they see maybe a startup and they are now going to have a fantastic job title, head of, and they think, fantastic, I am now going to grow. But what they don't understand is sometimes a lot of these startups don't have the funds, or you may be aiming a little bit too high without having that experience. Absolutely. So the reasons why people make the kind of leaving, I'm going to leave, I think there is a right and wrong way of doing it. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So this impulse resignation, so to speak, is a dangerous way to go about it.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, it is surprising. I don't have any statistics, but having done over 50 to 18,000 interviews, and I tend to get people to open up to me. The main reason, Shiko, why people leave is because of their immediate boss. Is actually their immediate supervisor. That is the person that seems to be kind of breaking the camel's hair, etc. So absolutely, yes.
Okay, well that's interesting. So sometimes it's not even necessarily about the work.
No.
It's the individual that you have to interact with every single day who's driving you out of the workplace.
Exactly.
Okay, so then now when you think about, when you look at it from that perspective, does that mean then we're not really focusing on the bigger goal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think what most people do, they almost forget that they're actually working for themselves.
Yeah.
When you go to work every day, you work for you. I understand that we have a lot of commitment to companies, etc.
Yeah.
So when we get so absorbed in a job and we are like putting 24 hours, we are putting our family above them, we are putting everything else, we want some recognition, we want some appreciation. So when that immediate manager just passes a promotion over whilst you've been slogging your heart out, you think, hold on a minute, why has this happened? happen? Why am I not being appreciated? Why am I not being acknowledged, etc.? So I do think that a lot of businesses do make, I think, very subtle decisions that make them lose some of the best talent that they have.
Wow, quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, one of the frequently asked questions when it comes to resigning from your job is how to start that communication process.
Yes.
So many times, I'm sure you've seen this. Like, in fact, one of my co-hosts was actually making a joke about it. He was just like, just leave.
No, don't do that.
And we've seen people who actually just walk through the door and they don't come back. And people leave for lunch, don't come back from lunch.
Absolutely.
Or they will send a text message. That's very frequent.
Can you believe that? I mean, that is shocking.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we get it wrong in terms of how to communicate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I look at it almost like a divorce. You know, you want to leave the plane on a good kind of relationship. But what I would say is that genuinely, what you have to understand is not necessarily is there a right time or a wrong time to quit. There is a yes or a no. If you are a small company and you've got a pretty critical role and you decide I'm not going to come back after lunch, you know, you're going to have such a huge impact on that business. Whereas if you are an SME or a slightly larger company, you leaving will not have an impact. So I think you need to understand how much of an impact you're going to have on that business. But what I would say is that, look, it's a small world. And what you do today, you never know where it's going to come up and end up being. And people, you know, communicate. And when you've done something wrong, people tend to share that. So that kind of information gets around. What I would say is that, look, at the end of the day, you have to be loyal to you because you're working for yourself at the end of the day. So what I would say is honesty, integrity, and just putting things clearly on the table actually goes a long way. But that's not just in a work environment. That goes for life, really, if you think about it. Yeah, honestly.
So what is actually considered professional, even, let me even use the word legal, in terms of your resignation? Should someone actually be specific on an email and a letter, or just pass on a letter to your HR department?
Very good question. Very, very good question. My advice is there is verbal resignation and there's written resignation. And I think in most cases you need to do the both. For me, I would never ever put anything that could legally implicate you. I'm leaving because of this specific reason. Be very cautious that this may not then bring some sort of legal implication later on. If you've made the decision to leave, you can have a verbal discussion with a person to say, this is why I'm leaving. Perhaps really tell them verbally. But when it comes to actually writing it down, I would say keep it clean. Keep it simple. I would like to consider this my resignation, starting from the date of, and whatever else you want to discuss, any holiday leaves or any other questions. But keep your resignation letter very simple and to the point, and do not include any of the major reasons. If you want to include or make sure that your business or your management understand your main reasons, take that through a different channel, not necessarily through a written format.
Okay. I know you've actually mentioned that there's no right or wrong time to resign, but a lot of people do struggle with that aspect of, I don't know when my time is up in a company. Am I even doing the right thing? You hear people who spent 5, 8, 10 years in a particular company, and you know, they're thinking, oh wow, okay, I've spent all this time here, but I don't know what's the minimum I should be spending in any company.
That's such a good question. That's such a good question. You really do find that people who have gone through that first phase of their career, which is the first 8 to 10 years, they kind of start getting itchy feet. They want a challenge, but they're not sure. They're not sure. So for me, any resignation, if it's going to be a mistake, is when you have a no plan. I am going to resign because I want to leave what I've got, rather than what is it that I want. Most people know what they don't want. I often ask this question. I genuinely say, I'm now going to give you a magic career wand. If you could magic any job you want, what job would you want? And you'll be amazed. That actually gets people thinking things.
Like, oh,
they don't. Exactly. So I think we need to be more career drivers and plan ahead. It is not that hard to actually get a job. I do know that the system as it is very frustrating. But I simplify and demystify. If you've got a good 10 years experience, with Just Work, we can show you how to get a job within a month and a half to 2 without compromising anything. So I think sometimes the lack of job insecurity makes us stay longer.
That's true.
And then the frustration makes us jump. So I would say don't leave without a plan.
Yeah.
At least, you know, what we do is make your job search or the next step a little bit more strategic and not lazy. And when I say lazy, I mean you putting out your CV and simply just click and apply and click and apply and click and apply. Then nothing gets done. If you don't manage your career strategically, even in the point where you're making the application, then the leaving also becomes a potential. But I would like to share just a little piece with you. Having interviewed, having kind of managed resignations on a global basis, I have found in Africa there is a particular trend. In Europe, or in a more westernized, more modernized environment, it is very, very rare to find senior individuals that would just leave a job without a job coming up. Whereas in Africa, this is actually quite common. Even at a senior level, I'm talking West Africa, Central Africa, East and Southern Africa. And I think that is a lot to do also with cultural aspects. When we reach at a senior level, we tend to have side businesses, we tend to have other things that kind of support us. So we don't feel as tied to our employer. So we feel more freedom to say, I'm not so happy, I'm going to leave you, and have more time to find out, which is very interesting. Because there are cultural elements. For example, you can't resign in certain countries. Just leave. Why? You will never be able to get another job because in Germany, for example, if you do not have a written reference from your previous employer, no future employer will even consider you.
Wow, and that's just how the market is there.
That's just how the legal aspect is. So I would say Kenya is a small market. You know, birds of feather flock together. And if you do something today and you kind of don't leave a mess behind, it will catch up with you later on. And I know that sometimes when you have a very close relationship with your boss and you know you've really bonded, you've worked together for 3-4 years, and all of a sudden an opportunity knocks on your door and you feel so excited. How do you go and tell your boss, I'm now going to leave you, even though I believe in what you are doing, etc.? So I would say, look, be honest. Explain it that this is really not about you, but this is about my future.
And growth.
Exactly. And also, you know, it's not just about your boss. Take the time to do 360-degree. Talk to your customers, your biggest customers, and let them know. Talk to your people that you work with.
So do some research on where you're moving.
Exactly. Just be a little bit more polite. And the most important thing I would say is when you are leaving, it's not just how you do it, but do a really good handover. You'll be amazed if you make yourself available to the new person. Come in that little bit extra. Look, can I give you a little bit of a hand?
And we don't do that.
No,
I mean, you're like, it's not my business.
We go.
Why should I bother training Natalia? I mean, whatever.
Exactly. So it's just common courtesy. And I genuinely, that goes a long way.
Okay. All right. How does someone then answer this question when they actually end up meeting a potential employer or recruiter when that question pops up as to why did you leave your previous job?
Okay.
Especially if it was on a negative footing or note.
It's a very good question. I have found many individuals sometimes, you know, they'll feel relaxed with the interviewer and then they'll start spilling, you know.
Like, my supervisor was just...
Look, there is a right way of doing it and there's a wrong way of doing it. I think if you are coming in to say it was all their fault, it was all their problem, I had nothing to do with it, it kind of does not make me believe you immediately. I would avoid, as a general rule of thumb, I would avoid explaining, you can put different motivational reasons. You know, I'm not, never misrepresent yourself, but why are you looking to leave? Why have you left your previous role? Is to say I was looking more for a career, more career engagement. I am looking for more. But if you are asked specifically, you know, did you ever have any challenging issues? I would go and actually, honesty is the best policy. But what I would say is I would frame it in a way that is without pointing blame and be professional. Because if you're coming in talking badly about your last boss to your new boss, you are exactly. So I would say always be honest, but you don't have to answer that question. Well, the actual reason is because the reason that you leave is not always singular. Let's be honest. There's always a number of different things.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Now, when you actually talk about resignation, I know you've talked a little bit about how you, the kind of attitude you should have about it. But step by step, we just want to narrow it down. Number one, it's about the communication.
Yes.
Written is always the best way to go.
Absolutely. Have something written, but have a verbal conversation before the hard document goes in.
Okay.
You see, there is following processes, and following processes is go to your HR department.
Right. Okay.
But verbal is actually having the courtesy to talk to your manager. Also have the courtesy to talk to everybody else. And one thing most people don't take into consideration is this: don't be too overly excited about your new opportunity in front of everybody. I'm so excited to leave, or kind of play down your new opportunity a little bit more, and make it really like an experience to say thank you. I'm going to go above and beyond for you. I really appreciated what you've done, rather than I'm now ready to leave and look what I got. Exactly.
Okay. Number two.
Yes.
All right. Step two. We've actually talked about communication. Step two is really about the transition.
Yes.
First of all, before you actually decide, okay, fine, I'm going to volunteer and help with the transition process, a plan.
Yes, write it down.
Yes. So what's your plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where most people do, and that's what I said.
Yeah.
There are people who do, the majority of people do knee-jerk decisions, either emotionally or principle-based.
Yes.
Unfortunately, if you've made that decision, look, this is not a healthy way of doing it. This is not a positive way of doing it. Do not wait till your water gets to that, and just put more strategy in your job searching. Don't just make it click and apply. Put more effort, more intentional effort, and you'll be amazed. Opportunities do come. Try and secure something else before you're actually ready to move.
And then number three, make plans to make a smooth transition.
Absolutely. Especially if you are a role where you are like a catalyst. If you are a project manager where you have several stakeholders, everybody is dependent on you. If you don't leave a really good kind of handover, instructions, little notes, and just be supportive in the transition, and that makes a difference, because even the person that's taking over your job will be talking about you, saying so and so was so helpful, they really helped me understand that little bit more, and it just shows the kind of person that you are. Absolutely.
And it's interesting, there are people who are quite smart, and you'll hear that even they will be making plans for even next year when they will be resigning. And you'd be like, why would you be planning so ahead?
I know.
But that's the smart way to go about it.
Agreed. I completely agree. I think there is a lot of emotion involved in resignation, especially what we talked about is people who just want to leave. So there are a lot of people that find themselves in a very difficult decision making. They've been in a job for maybe 5-6 years in that company. They've developed, they've grown, they love what they're doing. All of a sudden, somebody like me turns up and says, hey, I have a fantastic opportunity for you. And they're torn. So people make the decision to leave on a variety of reasons. All I would say is your career is not just about a job. Don't not come back after a lunch break, because that will have, genuinely will have. But then at the same time, what I would say is there are some very toxic, extremely toxic environment. And I think you are the best person to decide when your mental state gets affected. If you are not sleeping, if something is happening, do not put yourself through this for a long time. So be aware of toxicity and how much control you have over it.
So even as we wind up, because I want to give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what justwork.com actually does. The importance, let's just try and drive this home about the importance of not burning bridges through your resignation.
Absolutely. You see, one of the key things that I do is always talk to your last manager, to your colleagues, even to people that you may not know, because I really do my background searching. So I'll talk to people that you may not even expect. So I genuinely believe that especially if you want to go at a senior level. I'm talking individuals who've invested in a master's, who've invested in their degree, who are really focused career drivers. Do not absolutely burn your bridges, because you'll be amazed that the person that you may have affected some way at some point will be an influencer somewhere down in the decision making. And you know, I do believe that when you start doing certain things, you start marking yourself, and those marks remain. Absolutely.
And then even just thinking about, you know, the future, you never know who you may need to also come on board on your team as a consultant.
Absolutely. But the most important thing I would say, and this is where Just Work really can help, it's not just about resigning, it's about planning your career. When every day I have people that come into the office and they say, here's my CV, Natalia, can you look at it? The first thing I'm going to do is rip your CV to pieces. It is an analog document and it does not work. So we have very, very structured programs. We can even digitize your CV if necessary. Digitization means it is a computer that reads your CV. Let us make sure that we literally make your CV beat any of these computers so that they can pick you up. But also, there is no such thing as just one job. Career are steps, and each job is one of those steps. So I want individuals really, really to learn on planning their careers. And that's what we are here to help to do.
Okay, so how can people reach you on, you know, your site, and how can they get you on social media, for example?
Absolutely. First thing I would say is this: Just Work has a missing you because we are looking for you.
That's cute.
Absolutely. So it's justwork.com. But you can just go onto our website, hello@justwork. Our number is on there. Feel free. You can literally just come and pop into the office. Come in. Let us talk to you. Don't sit frustrated. Don't wait and think, are they not? Are they? Just come in. Come and check us out. We really can help.
Oh, wow. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us this morning. It's always a pleasure having Natalia Zara. She is a headhunter, and you heard it for yourself, the CEO of Just, without a U, justwork.com. And they are available to actually help you as you want to progress in your career. But thank you so much for speaking to us about how to go about resigning the right way, how to keep it professional, and most importantly, how to do it in a smart way. Be that smart person today. And of course, if you did enjoy this particular interview, why don't you let us know? If you want to get in touch with Zara directly, we'll be happy to put you in touch. Get in touch with us through those social media platforms at K24 TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then on the other side, you know, it's time to get interactive. Jeff Mote and Paul Bovi are good to go.